Yo, what's going on, Ghost here, and today I am bringing you guys another comparison video between the RPD and XM4. And I wanted to make this comparison because ever since they nerfed the Craig, Fara, and Stoner, people have been trying to figure out what the best primary for Warzone is. And the people have leaned towards the XM4. That's, I would argue, the most popular primary at the moment. But others have leaned over towards the RPD for whatever reason. Because personally, I feel like there's a better option in the LMG category. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But regardless, people have been leaning on to the RPD, saying it's the next best thing, and we're gonna take a look at that in a second. But before we do, I want to say if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 2,000. We just hit 1.84K, so thank you guys for that. So we're now about 160 subs away from the big 2,000. So again, man, any sub helps, help a brother out. Please and thank you. And also, man, if you guys can do me a favor of following me over at my Twitch channel at alwaysghost_. We're on the road to 250 followers over there. I'll also be greatly appreciated. And man, with that being said, let's get into this comparison. And here we have the recoil pattern for the RPD, and this is probably one of the primary reasons why people are starting to use the RPD. That's because it shoots straight. And as you guys can see with this recoil pattern, a straight line up, it's not that difficult to control the recoil pattern on the RPD. However, I feel like at times at range, this gun does kind of lack in terms of hitting bullets or just registering. I don't know if that's because of the barrel that I'm using, or maybe it's because of my aim sometimes, but sometimes I feel like at those ranges that are really far, this gun just doesn't seem to reach. And I don't know if people share that similar feeling, but for me personally, that's how I feel like this gun has it sometimes. But that's not to say that's the only gun that feels like this, because the XM4 also at times feels like going at those extra deep ranges. Both these guns kind of struggle, I'm not gonna lie. But sometimes, like in this clip right here, you're able to, if you hit your shots properly, you'll be able to do some damage. But this gun, bro, is a very 50-50 gun in my opinion. It's kind of like the XM4 in a way as well, where sometimes you feel like it beams and it's literally monstrous, while other times you feel like it shoots marshmallows and you leave people with one shot, when if you had another gun from, like a Stoner or Craig, you would have killed them. But to be honest, that's not really like too big of a deal for me personally. Like, I actually like this meta instead of, like, for example, a Craig or Stoner, where if you get caught lacking, you're not gonna really have a chance to react. Whereas this kind of gives you a brief chance of surviving, even if you're one shot, and being able to get away from someone who's maybe in the building and you're like about to hit a corner. Because sometimes, if you got caught by a Stoner, more likely you were gonna die. But now guns with like the XM4 and RPD, if you're trying to like make it through a corner and someone actually catches you off guard, sometimes you'll probably be able to get away with just a sliver of health, and some opponents will be able to get away from you with the sliver of health. And again, that might seem like a bad thing, but for the state of the game as a whole, I feel like that's not really that bad. And matter of fact, I actually think it's a good thing, because it makes it so we don't have to deal with guns that kill really fast and without being able to react. And also, you want to note something real quick. I know you guys saw my RPD with the 75 round mag, or I guess the base mag, and I gotta be honest with you, man, 75s is definitely not enough, but I'm not gonna change it to the higher mags because I just don't want to mess with the ADS speed or the mobility, because if you put on that mag, you're gonna be slower, and I don't know if it's gonna mess up my reload time. I don't know if it's gonna make it slower. It would make sense that it does make the reload time a lot longer, and so I don't even want to mess with that. And plus, I don't know, I just don't like running bigger mags on LMGs, because I feel like after using the Bruin and experiencing the Bruin meta, like, that kind of set the standard for LMGs. And I think us getting spoiled by the Bruin and its 16 round hybrid mag kind of just makes us not want to use the slower LMGs. And that's probably why LMGs have always kind of been just stuck in the shadows of metas, and why they haven't really been able to like come out. Because again, guns like the PKM, bro, in my opinion, is currently the best LMG. Not to say that RPD is bad, because our RPD is pretty good, but I really do feel like the PKM is the closest thing to the Stoner, so I really don't understand why people shifted over to the RPD, but that is a conversation for another day. And yeah, man, I don't know, man. With that being said, though, let's get into the XM4 and stats. And here we have the recoil pattern for the XM4, and as you guys can see, it's actually very similar to the RPDs. However, towards the end, it does start to curve right. But at the end of the day, man, this gun isn't really the hardest to control. It does have recoil. It's not like a weapon that is 100% pinpoint accurate. Laser beam, it's definitely not by any means. Nor is the RPD. I think the RPD, yeah, has less recoil than the XM4. but it has, you know, capabilities of having a little bit of recoil, not necessarily 100% accurate. It's more like 95% accurate, while the XM4 is, you know, definitely less than 90%, because, you know, if you lose control of this gun, it can be rough, man, and it definitely kicks up a little bit. So, anyways, in my opinion, bro, the XM4 is the go-to gun at the moment. It's just because of feel and the fact that the RPD isn't like the Stoner, where it's literally a weapon that can't really be contested in terms of damage. Because the RPD and XM4, when you guys hear these stats, are pretty similar. Even with XM4 leading some categories. And listen, bro, the only thing that you potentially missing out by not using RPD is the ammo. I feel like every other aspect is in the favor of XM4 when it comes to movement, ADS speed. But, you know, if you decide to run like a bigger mag for the RPD, and, you know, 100 rounds compared to 60, definitely, you know, the 100 rounds seems more enticing. But for me personally, movement and 60 bullets is enough. So, but anyways, man, with that being said, the first stat that I want to get into is the fire rate. And for the XM4, we have a 721 RPM. And then for the RPD, we have a 652 RPM. So the XM4 obviously here winning slightly the fire rate battle, and that really just matters in like medium to far range, because at close range I feel like the XM4 definitely wins or beats the RPD no matter what. In the medium range you can get a little, you know, iffy depending on where the bullets go, and in long range obviously that's what's going to matter the most. And then moving over to the damage for the XM4, at 0 to 22 meters, we have 45 damage to the head, 45 to the neck, 30 to the chest, stomach, and extremities, which are wings. And then for the RPD, we have 48 damage, or for 0 to 40 meters, we have 48 damage to the head, 35 to the neck, 35 to the chest, 32 to the stomach and extremities. And so in this case, the RPD has slightly more damage than the XM4, I think maybe 1 or 2 bullet difference. But where the biggest difference in damage comes from is the neck, as the XM4, you know, clearly leads to neck by about like, what, 45 to 35. And that's like, what, 4 or 5 bullet difference? And, you know, if you hit neck shots, it's gonna be noticeable, the damage difference between the two. Overall though, depending on how about like a fight goes between the two, it's really just gonna matter on who hits what. You know, kind of like a 50-50 battle. Again though, situational, really just a lot of factors play into a theoretical 1v1 between the two. But anyways, man, moving over to the long range, where I think the damage is gonna matter a little bit more. For 22 meters and above, we have 40 damage to the head and neck for the XM4, and then 27 to the chest and the extremities. And for 40 meters and above for the RPD, we have 42 damage to the head, 30 to the neck, chest, and then 20 to the stomach and extremities. So again, bro, the biggest difference there is the neck damage by 10, or damage profile by 10, whereas everything else is the RPD's lead. But again, that's like a 1-2 bullet difference compared to the neck damage, where the XM4 leads by like 3, 4, 5 bullets. So I feel like in a fight between these two, it's all about getting necks. Not even about getting headshots. It's literally getting neck shots and hoping that, or if you're using our XM4, it's all about hitting neck shots and hoping that your opponent isn't hitting like the head and just hitting straight body. And which is possible, because it's not like, unless you're a hacker or even if you have good aim, you're not necessarily going to be hitting headshots 100% at any range. Maybe close range, but I feel like the XM4 would definitely win in close range. I think you're more likely to hit the neck than the head. You could debate that. Honestly, you probably could debate that. But for me personally, I feel like the neck's easier to hit. Actually, maybe not. I don't know. If you guys, some of y'all have some big ass heads, bro. Anyways, man, as you guys saw, man, like the damage and all that. Like, I just feel like, and from an efficiency standpoint, like I just feel like the XM4 is just by far the superior just weapon. Not to say that the RPD is bad, but it's just, I mean, think about it, bro. The XM4 way faster. And if you're just using the base mag on the RPD, you're only getting 15 more bullets than the XM4. And the damage is practically the same. And even then, I feel like the XM4, theoretically, is more powerful than the RPD. And actually, at the end of the day, bro, I still don't understand why people are leaning towards the RPD. Because, again, the RPD is a really good LMG. But I can't comprehend the disrespect the PKM is receiving, because the PKM, in my opinion, was the best LMG before the Stoner got nerfed, and now that it got nerfed, the PKM is obviously the better LMG. I mean, look, this isn't a comparison between the PKM and the RPD. I understand that, and matter of fact, bro, now that I'm talking about it a lot, I might have to make a comparison on this, because I don't know, man, the PKM is getting disrespected. But I mean, I guess I can accredit it to the fact that, with my argument being here, is that the fact the RPD is slower than the XM4, making it the XM4 being better. I mean, but at the end of the day, like, the XM4 damage wise, in my opinion, it's definitely better because of the neck. Like I feel like the neck damage just outweighs any other difference of damage that this gun has. And I feel like the PKM is definitely gonna have a little bit more damage than the RPD. It has no recoil and it has 100 bullet space max. I don't know, man. We're gonna have to see if that video's gonna come out. More than likely it is, because I really need to get this off my chest, as you guys saw in this last minute here. But yeah, man. Let me know what you guys think about the XM4 and RPD. Which one do you prefer and why? And actually, just let me know what you're rocking in this current meta of Warzone as your primary, because you know there's quite a bit of options out there right now. And yeah, man. With that being said, though, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later, and I'm out. Peace.